the Jensens, purchased 30 acres in a rural area of Gardner, Kansas, with the intention of building a place to retire. The Jensens' acreage is next to property owned by the Johnson County, Kansas. Before they purchased their property, the Jensens noticed that Johnson County property had some sort of big building being built on it. They checked with the planning office and were assured that the building would most likely be hidden by a big earth and a grass berm, and that the stormwater code would be compiled with this, preventing any water problems that to the Jensens' property. In June of 2009, after the Jensens had spent thousands of dollars cleaning up their new property, including draining their pond and removing a makeshift motorcycle berm, the Jensens were ready to draw up plans to build their new house. At that time, their architect informed them that the county had shortened the big earth and grass berm so their view would not be protected at all. Shortly after the bad news, a heavy rain came and the runoff from the property, the county property, caused a path of water and silt that was 6 feet across to flood the Jensens' property. After a few more rains, there was a river cut 3 feet deep in some places. Prior to trial, the district court let the county off on a technicality. The real argument will be presented before 3-judge panel of the Kansas Court of Appeals in the next few months. Please help me welcome Connie.
Thank you, Brandy. It's kind of a long introduction, but I think that you should know that the Jensens got a telephone call from the property owner that was next to their property. And the telephone call said, there's a concentrated water flow coming from the property behind you at Johnson County, and it's traveling down your property, into your pond, over your dam, in a diagonal fashion all the way across your 30 acres. The Jensens had just spent a lot of money to clean 7 feet of silt out of that pond, and they had lined, the silt had accumulated over 40 years, and they had lined the pond with white rock. It was about 3 or 4 feet wide. And so what that meant is that since the banks of the pond had been topped by this water, that even after adding 7 feet of capacity to this pond, that the banks were exceeded by 3 feet. There was a water problem on their property. Mr. Jensen called the county. Hey, your property is causing me a problem here. He went to meetings. He wrote letters. He appeared before the Board of County Commissioners. The Board of County Commissioners came out. They came out and looked. They inspected. They walked the property. They knew there was a problem on this property, and his commissioner told him, look, this is wrong. We need to make it right. So they offered to buy the property for half what he had just paid for it a few months before. Well, that didn't seem quite fair to Mike, so he got an appraisal. He submitted the appraisal to the county, and he got a letter from the county saying, this is not our responsibility. We're not doing anything further for you. Mike called a lawyer. So a lawyer says, okay, before you sue a county or a government of any type, you have to file something called a notice of claim. This is a 120-day notice to the county of what the problem is, so that they have an opportunity to investigate it and fix it or pay it. One of the things that I love about the law, and I hate about the law, is that it's not always black and white. Sometimes it's gray. And in this statute, this notice of claim statute, it requires that you comply with a certain number of things and include some things within there. It's a list, a laundry list. That's the black and white. However, at the bottom of the statute, it says that substantial compliance is going to be effective. So it allows you to be a human while you're trying to comply with the laundry list that the county needs to know. In this case, the lawyer, it wasn't me, filed a notice of claim. It was 87 pages long. It had 3-page description of what was happening. It had the 2 letters that Mike had written to the county. It had the letter from the neighbor who had called and said, look, I've never seen flooding like this before, ever. It also had an appraisal, and the appraisal valued the property at $1.5 million. So the county wrote back a denial of the claim, and it was in an email. In the email, it said, the county will deny your claim at this point for the alleged damage to your property of $1.5 million. That's what it said. It said specifically that. Well, you remember those enumerated items that I told you about? Well, one of them says that you have to state a statement of monetary damage to your property. Well, in the notice, the lawyer wrote, there's an appraisal involved here for $1.5 million, and this property is unusable. She never put a dollar figure in that paragraph. The lawyer referred the case to me, and I filed a petition. And when we filed the petition, about 2 years of legal wrangling ensued. I wanted to take statements, they wanted to take statements. We got an investigation of how this happened, why this happened, what was wrong. And just about before the trial, we were almost ready to go to trial, the county filed a motion to dismiss. Their basis was that that statement of monetary damage wasn't precise. It didn't comply with the statute. Really? 2 years ago? Our statement of monetary damage didn't comply? So I responded to the court that, look, they acknowledged it. Here's a $1.5 million acknowledgement right here in this email from the county denying our claim. But the court said, no, we only recognize number problems here, not word problems. And so you did not have a statement of monetary damage in your case. It's kind of different. Was it perfect? No, it probably wasn't a perfect statement of monetary damage. Was it human? Absolutely. It was a human response to trying to fit into a list of things that we have to do. Did it give the county an opportunity to investigate what was wrong? Absolutely. Did it tell the county how it could go about figuring out what was to fix this problem? Absolutely. To hold that this case did not comply with the statement of monetary damage and only recognized number problems and not word problems is to make us into a mechanical robot trying to fix a problem. This case needs to go back to the jury. This case needs to be remanded. This case needs to be decided and determined whether or not the county had the responsibility. Thank you.